Cats is the newest film from director Tom Hooper, and it is based off of the 1981 Andrew Lloyd Webber musical of the same name. This film follows a tribe of cats who must decide yearly which one of them will ascend to the Heavenside lair and who will come back to a new life. On July 18th, 2019, the world cracked in half. I don't know if you knew that, but it did. And that's because Universal Studios debuted their first look at their upcoming Cats film in the form of a trailer, and the world went insane. Everyone was both immediately disturbed and confused at what their eyeballs were seeing, and I can tell you after seeing this movie firsthand in its entirety, I don't think that line of thinking has really changed too much for myself. Now, I have never seen a live performance of Cats, so going into this movie, I didn't really know too much about the story, and I'm glad that I didn't, because I think even if I did, I don't think that really anything could have prepared me for what I was about to experience on the big screen. And that's because Tom Hooper's Cats is so impossibly bad and such an incredible failure that it's kind of spectacular to watch from start to finish. Seeing how I really had no idea of what the narrative of this film would be, there was no way that I could have possibly known that this movie really isn't about anything. We have our protagonist Victoria, who arrives on the streets of what is, I assumed, Cat London, and she is introduced to a bunch of feisty felines that also roam the streets, and they introduced her to a bunch of wacky characters who live throughout the city. And that's pretty much it, because I think every scene in this movie could be described in saying that Victoria is somehow introduced to a new wacky character. They sing a song about their personality or their habits, and the song is usually centered around their own name. They part ways, Victoria's introduced to another kooky character, they also sing a song, and then they do this for about 2 more hours, and then the credits begin to roll. And it's once I began to notice this pattern that I found it really difficult to get invested in this movie, because there's no real development for anyone in the film. Instead, this film opts to tell what I assume are extended metaphors regarding the afterlife. But I think the problem in encouraging your audience to dive a bit deeper into this movie is that you're making them continue to think about the movie Cats. But honestly though, I found this movie to be absolutely dreadful, and I don't even want to begin to be thinking about what this movie may or may not be saying. This whole movie is just the same scenes repeated over and over again with some good to average songs sprinkled throughout it. But the thing is, I don't think I can even attribute some of the very mildly successful things that this film pulls off because, for example, the songs of this movie are nearly 40 years old. This movie only introduces one new song that is performed by Taylor Swift in this movie, who I'm convinced that the only reason that she is in this film is so the studio can say just that. Taylor Swift is in this movie. She shows up for however long the duration of the song is, and then she kind of just leaves. She introduces the antagonist of this movie, who's been around throughout the entire duration of the film, and she does so about 3/4 of the way through the movie, and then she kind of just pieces out. And she's not the only celebrity cameo in this film. James Corden, as well as Rebel Wilson, also make an appearance in this movie, and their characters literally begin and end with the fact that they're fat. And what's so bizarre with their inclusion in this film is their performances don't really gel well with anybody else in the movie. They play their parts exactly like you would expect them to. The only problem with that is it's kind of juxtaposed to people who are performing like they are in a theatrical production, which results in these 2 separate camps, these really disjointed performances that feel like they're 2 performances from 2 completely different films. Oh yeah, forgot to mention, all of the actors in this movie are made to look like cat-human hybrids, so that's neat. Now, when the trailer for this movie came out, a lot of people were like, whoa, that looks horrifying. And then we heard, well, the CGI isn't totally done, and it's going to look better in the theaters on the big screen, which although isn't exactly wrong, I don't really think it fixes the issues at the heart of this film. And that's because the real problem with this film's effects is the fact that they're trying to create human-cat hybrids and have it look immediately disturbing. Now, I don't think that this film has a problem with the visual effects on a technical level. In fact, I think the main issue is, as people, we see other people's faces all day. That's literally all we see. So when you have a film that does what this movie does and attempts to morph a human being's face into the face of a cat, something that's facial structure isn't that close to a human's, what you get is something that looks like a freaking monster. And if we're being really honest here, no amount of extended metaphors or catchy songs are able to fix the fact that my eyes are bleeding throughout the entire movie. Now, look, yes, I understand that musicals are on the upswing. Les Mis was a huge critical success, as was La La Land, and The Greatest Showman made way more money than it deserved to. But I think we can all agree that maybe making a live-action Cats movie that follows a gang of kittens on the street of London that may or may not be an extended metaphor for the afterlife, directed by the guy who made A King's Speech and stars Jason Derulo, probably wasn't the best idea. And worst of all, I think Universal knows that. That's why they put it on the same weekend as Star Wars, because they're actively trying to bury this movie. And to be honest, after seeing this movie, I can't blame them. So did you guys see Cats? What did you think about it? Leave your thoughts and opinions down below. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching today. I hope you liked today's video. And if you did, you can click on the link down below where you can subscribe to my channel to see more movie reviews and movie-related things. And thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.